Hi, everyone.
Okay, we're live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our live session here on a Friday evening. Very happy to be back. And we have with us our lovely guests for tonight, Dr. Mark Leonard and his really lovely wife, Becky, who are with us from the United States. And as you guys know, we had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Mark Leonard in one of our sessions last year. But we're really delighted tonight because this time we have the duo, the lovely husband and the wife together. And this is a really, really, sort of inspiring couple for us. Both of them are amazing, high performance, and, they're different around the world. They're fortunate clients and people. And I will just have them introduce themselves to you. And so, welcome to our show, Dr. Mark and Becky. How are you both? And please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you. We're so excited to be here with our amazing friends. Thank you so much for the invite.
Very welcome.
I'm Dr. Mark Leonard, and this is my amazing, amazing, beautiful wife, Becky Leonard.
Absolutely. We're absolutely delighted to have her. As happy to see her, if not more, as we are to have you back.
Thank you. I'm honored.
So, hey, Becky, introduce yourself. Who are you? Who is this amazing woman?
Who am I? I love to start with being a wife of 30 years to my best friend. Our partnership is what keeps us going, and we support each other in everything we do. So this right here is really, really important to me. I am a fiercely devoted wife. I am also a mom to 6 beautiful children, and that's really was always my lifelong passion, was being the best mom I could be. So 4 of them are now married and have children. We actually just found out that we have our 12th grandbaby on the way.
Wow.
So
how delightful is
That's make both of you quite young grandparents.
We are. We started young and they started young, and we've been blessed to have some of those grandbabies come to us prepackaged, and so we are so blessed. And then I am a business owner, and we just opened an Italianized shop here in our town in June. And I have 20 more kids to add to it. I call them my kids. They're beautiful, beautiful people. And I have the beautiful opportunity to help teach them how to go out into the world. We teach them about budgeting and about finances and about life and about how to be responsible. And so those are kind of the things that encapsulate who I am.
I know when we were talking earlier before we went on live, your husband described you as this phenomenal entrepreneur. Yeah. And because I was asking you about, the various things you do, and, he brought that up, and you just talk. Just to clarify, so this I believe that you're coaching them when you said that, we prepare them. So you're basically a coach, like a mentor to them. Is that right?
To our employees?
You're 20 employees, children.
100%. A lot of these kids have never had jobs.
Right.
So we are their first experience with the real world. And with it comes a lot of patience on our part, but a lot of joy watching them grow too. We definitely are coaching them. Sometimes it's with a little bit of reminder of the rules.
Yes.
And then other times it's with just praising them for being so amazing. But it's definitely a coaching experience.
It is a coaching experience. And this particular endeavor of yours, what are the ages of employees? Is there a particular age group you work with, or is it far spread out?
All of our employees, let's see, our youngest is 15 and our oldest is 21.
Okay. Because I want to get a sense asking you questions, about your coaching. I wanted to get an idea of how, what kind of age range you're, dealing with. So 14 and 20. Wow, that's a tough age to, handle.
Well, that's what people say is that teenagers are difficult and tough. And I will be the first person in the world to say, no way. Teenagers are amazing. They're awesome. They're phenomenally energetic. And we just have the pleasure of being able to coach them along the way. And Becky does such an amazing job working with them. And really, I think the number one thing, I'm going to toot her horn for a minute. The number one thing that she does is love them.
Yes, that's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
So, as we know, Dr. are a happiness coach. You're also a success coach, and you coach people on various areas of their life. It wouldn't be wrong to say that you have overarching expertise, and you're a mentor to many. And last time when we had you, we're only specifically talking about your happiness breakthrough, and the rules that you had, and you'd written a sort of a I had called it like me textbook, like prescription for happiness breakthrough. So we discussed that in detail. But today we will be going a little further, and since we have you both, and you both have your own, expertise and professionalism and exposure and experiences, we will be really talking about, various life experiences, challenges that come along the way, and particularly for the people who are stuck in a place in their life, and how they can break out, the so-called comfort zone. So beginning with, how, Dr. Leonard, that a person breaks out.
So you broke up just a little bit at the very end. I had a hard time hearing you, but I think what you're asking is a little bit about,
Sorry, I think the last thing was, how important do you think, hear me clearly, how important do you think break out of one's comfort zone? A lot of us are trying to break out of it. We're happy. Some of us want to be there, some of us are not.
Yeah, comfort zones are an interesting thing, aren't they? For most of my life, I've had this idea that comfort was a good thing, right? I want a comfortable home. I want a comfortable job. I want to wear comfy clothes, right? I want to have, when I'm not feeling well, I want comfort food, right? We talk about comfort as this idea of, wrapped in a cozy, warm blanket. And it sounds wonderful. But the problem with comfort is that it's so limiting. It really stops us. If all we're doing is living in this world with a wrapped blanket around us, we're going to trip. We're not going to be able to get out and experience life. We're not going to be able to give hugs and celebrate and joy because we're so wrapped into being comfortable. So it begs the question, yeah.
Oh, I just was thinking, sometimes comfort is not good for us too. To his point, I've been pondering a lot lately how we'll say in our lives, I don't want to have X, Y, and Z, but then we make choices that lead us right down the path to X, Y, and Z. And it has to do with that comfort. Like let's say you were growing up and there was something that you had in your life growing up that you don't want to have as an adult, and you say, I don't want to have that. But then you make choices that lead you right down that path to the thing that you said you didn't want to have. So even though that it's a blanket, it's comfortable, it could be a wool blanket.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not doing much good for you.
Pretty much start sweating in it soon, right?
Yeah. So the comfort gets uncomfortable. And now, isn't that an interesting thought? Comfort.
That is. And when you mentioned that, quite often you get led towards the same things. And I see those as patterns, right? And when I talk of comfort zone, I quite often, because I think about it a lot as well. And I always think that it's because we have these patterns that we grew up with. And it's so hard to break those patterns. And most of us grew up not even realizing that we have limiting, constricting patterns, and those patterns are really what keep us in the comfort. So when you're coaching people, I know that this might come up and you identify different patterns and you tell your clients, look, well, this is the problem. How does that work? You have somebody who comes to you and is just stuck it's hard to get them to see the mirror. So how do you deconstruct? Just like
Great question. And I love that. How do you get people to recognize
yes,
that they are their own limiting beliefs? They are
yes,
the people that are holding them back. And
yep,
today's day and age, we're so good as humans at pointing the finger at everyone else. And we like to say everything is their fault. I'm this way because of them. I am doing this because he or she did this. But we're forgetting some phenomenal science. I'm going to share something. You've
yeah,
probably have seen this before.
Yes, Einstein's
yes.
equation.
Equal to
Yes,
Yeah. Well,
E is equal to mc squared.
can I rewrite this to be something a little bit
Go
different
ahead.
that we can use?
Yeah.
All right,
yes.
so this is what I do in my coaching. I start with E. I start with E. So what is E? Well, E is excellence.
Mhm.
See, if we're going to be stuck in our comfort zone, we need to take some time, and I do this as with my clients, of defining what is excellence. What do you want? What are you trying to achieve? Where are you going to go? I'm not asking what's stopping you. I'm asking if we could remove every roadblock, what would it look like? And let's start with excellence, and let's really get time to define that. I like to, some people call it clarity or vision or mission or their passion or their life goals or their legacy. I like to call it excellence because we don't like to wake up. We don't tell our kids when they go to school, have a mediocre day. You go have a mediocre day. Hope you get that C. No. We encourage them to be excellent in all things. And here's the great thing about excellence. It's infinite. That's why it's capitalized. It's infinite. It's eternal.
Mm.
You're always having some place to go. So spending time defining what that looks like is really a vital piece to breaking out of that comfort zone.
Yes. And I mean, I think that's
Exactly.
excellence. And when you describe, you see, there are a lot of people who would just maybe say, well, maybe some people are not cut out to be to achieving or to have it in them to achieve excellence. Whereas, as a coach, I'm sure you would disagree. I disagree because I feel like, I don't know. I mean, this could be like one of those, grandiose proclamations I'm making. I'm in no seat to do that. So you go ahead and do it. But do you think it's achievable for everybody? Like all your clients who come to you when you tell them?
Right. The thing I love about the word excellence is that it's personal to the individual.
Yeah.
That we might not all be, I don't know, billion-dollar earners, but you can always be excellent in whatever it is that you have decided to do with your life.
Yeah.
And so it's all about self-reflection, and it's all about who do you want to become, and how is excellence defined for you.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily material. Like you said, you're not excellent or you haven't excellence if you're particularly successful in your career, right? Because a lot of people associated with how much money you have, how many houses, or how successful you are. You could be this, really amazing father or mother, or you could be a student. You could be anybody, and like you said, this is a soul experience, divine. So is it?
We were driving down the road the other day, and the gardeners were out. Gardeners, they were working on all the plants. We had these big monsoon rainstorms here, 80-mile-an-hour winds. Trees came down everywhere. It looked like a hurricane or a typhoon came through here. And we live in a desert, so it's very rare to have that type of weather. But we were watching these very inspiring, hardworking gardeners, these yard workers. Now, sometimes people look down upon others, right? Oh, well, they're not as successful.
Yep.
They were artisans. The things that they could do with these trees to reshape them, to bring beauty back to life, was excellence. See, excellence doesn't have to, I like what you're saying, Dr. O'Connor. It doesn't have to be about that career. It doesn't have to be about the title. It doesn't have to be about the money. It's about being excellent in whatever you choose to do. With our employees, be excellent in cleaning the dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like from what I'm hearing is like excellence is something that leads you towards happiness and contentment, and it is no matter what you do, if you're pursuing that, and if you are getting or you know, or feeling that excellence, then you will feel happy, you will feel content. Is that how it works? What do you think?
Well, it does. And again, being a capital E, right? Excellence is big, it's huge, it's eternal. It creates energy.
Yeah.
When we are excellent, it creates something inside of us. And Becky, 30 years ago when we got married, how good was I at washing dishes?
I have to answer that.
Please answer the question.
You talk on a
Remember, this is being recorded for time and all eternity. Everyone will hear your answer. Please answer truthfully.
I probably
Yeah.
I don't think he did it. He's come a long way.
Excellence is
Okay,
about.
but the $1 million question now, what I'm just saying, how good is he now?
He's awesome.
He's excellent.
Now it has been recorded, and now it has been worded and recorded, and you can rewatch it again. I think that you are amazing.
You know, I'm going to take a little snippet of this and put it on my phone. On those days I'm not feeling very good, I'll just hit record and listen to it.
Yeah.
Talk to your grandchildren and just brag about it. It's not like, see, you know, it's like recorded. Right? So you weren't that good, and today you're excellent, and E is equal to MC squared. So we're still, you know, the equation. So please carry on.
All right. So let's talk about how do we become excellent, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about these next 3 steps. MC squared, 2C. Let's talk about each of them. M, mindset.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you have that voice in the head that kind of says things like, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not successful enough, I don't have enough money. Yeah, right? Yeah. Everyone should be raising their hands because we all say these things in our head.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is why he gets paid the big bucks. It's because it doesn't matter if you're the gardener or the $1 billion earner. We all struggle with that.
Absolutely.
And our mindset can pull us down.
Yep.
In social media, wow, has that destroyed the world?
Yep.
Such a blessing and such a curse, right?
What has destroyed the world? Can you just repeat that?
Social media has destroyed the world.
Yes, exactly.
Think about what's happening to our youth as they get on, you know, for here, there's a lot of TikTok or a lot of Instagram, and they look at these perfect bodies, these perfect lifestyles, these people that are living in a mansion on a beach, driving a Ferrari. Do you know how many of those there are in the world? Instagram would have you believe that it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And then we compare ourselves. It's destroying our mindset. So
Exactly.
what are some things that you do to help with mindset? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Me personally, or me with my...
Yes and yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. What are the things you do to, you know, help these people that you work with, these young, you know, people work with at your in your business, in your company, how do you this mindset? Because I mean, Dr. Leonard brought up a very important point, and he's associated that very strongly with the internet. And as a parent, it has its advantages. It connects us, which is globally, right? Me and you guys, we wouldn't have gotten a chance to know you, right? And people like you. So it also has within its advantages. But yes, I cannot disagree with the fact that for children, it is becoming an insult. It's also becoming an epidemic of our youth. So when it comes to minds, how do you help these young children and these young adults, create that mindset that prepares them to go out and face the challenges? What are the things that you do?
So,
Me.
yes.
I like the turn taking. I like the turn taking thing. Like okay, it's for you.
Yeah. Well, we do that a lot. And we can like read each other's eyeballs. We're like, okay, I got that. Okay.
And I love how patient you both are with each other, because like in a lot of couples, like somebody would just go for the answer, right, without even like caring. But you both, so that's so sweet. Really appreciate that.
At practice.
And absolute undeniable value for the other person.
Yeah. We will definitely do that. And be prepared, because you're going to answer that, Dr. Leonard. But
of course,
go ahead and do tell us about this mindset and how you coach what are your coaching tips to get that mindset?
As far as our squad goes, our employees, something that we love that is part of the culture of the franchise that we purchased was every day when they come in, there's a board that they read. And it goes through the expectations for the day, the things we need to work on. And we always have a quote up that's something positive. And because of who we are, it's always mindset related. Always. Like one day we had a quote that had something to do with like the choices that you make today will affect the person that you become tomorrow, right? Things that help them to think about who they are and who they want to become. So I love that as far as that focus for them. It's simple, but coming in and having that be the first thing that they do to start off their shift, I don't know, it helps me. I think it helps them. We also tell our kids to own who they are. Like in our business, you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. It's part of the learning process. And so we always tell them, just own it. Whatever it is, be okay with saying, hey, I made a mistake. And then we, as owners and managers, say, hey, thanks for letting me know. Let's fix that. And we've had some big mistakes and we've had some small mistakes, but that fact that they're owning what they're doing and then making it right, I think goes a long way with that mindset too. I think that in that social media world where we think that no mistakes can be made, that's like in a real world scenario where they can understand that mistakes are learning. Mistakes are a learning opportunity. We say that, like, there is no mistake if you've learned from it and then you've done everything in your power to fix it and make it better. So I think that those two things have been huge for our squad and for our kids as well.
Exactly.
But there's no mistake if you've owned it. I mean, I think that's such an important life lesson, right? And that's amazing.
Can I ask over something over here that when you know that the mindset is everything and you've been practicing, but there are times when you can't even practice and you know everything about it, then how to go about it? Because you know everything that mindset is, you need to be the best person for yourself, but sometimes things are not happening the way you plan. Then how to go about when you are having that difficult time? Then how to just redirect that mindset of yours?
The thought I was having is, if you can show me a perfect day, I don't think it exists. There's never going to be a day that everything works out perfectly. There's never going to be a day that we have, because if there were that perfect day, the perfect mindset, the perfect actions, you couldn't do even 1% more or 1% better, you would no longer need to live here on this earth.
True.
You will be exalted. And so then with that, there's always something that we can do. So one of the things I love to do, especially with my clients, when they know what to do. They're experts in their field. They are the best at what they do. And they still have that, like, what else could I do? Or more than likely it's, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm still having a hard time in my head. I'm still having a hard time. I'm frustrated. I'm anxious. I feel uncomfortable. One of the strategies I do is I actually, especially when I'm coaching, I have them move. I have them absolutely move. If we're coaching, let's say we're coaching over Zoom, I would have them stand up and I'd have them, look out a window and then start naming things. What are 3 things that you see that are beautiful? Oh, and I love this. I had one client go, I live in a desert. There's nothing beautiful. I said, oh, that's interesting. I live in the same desert. I see it differently. Try looking through my lens. What would I see that's beautiful? And they sat there and they're mad. Oh, they're so mad at me. And finally she goes, the skies are blue. I went, oh, tell me how that blue sky makes you feel. I slowed them down. See, often when we have something in the mindset that's blowing us out, moving us away from where we want to go, we have to physically move, reoxygenate our body, do some breathing exercises, look at things from a different lens, and then come back to the problem. What was beautiful? Oh, it was blue skies. Really, how does a blue sky make you feel? Oh, it makes me feel like it's warm. Great. What else do you see? Suddenly it was, she came up with 7, 8, 9 things that were beautiful in this dead desert. So having that is really, really important. Being able to see it from a different lens. And so that's why mindset is vital, is you just need to implement some very simple tools to see things a little bit differently. We need to shift.
I love the word myopic. It's a newer word to my vocabulary, but I think about
Myopic?
how I love what you said about, like, well, what about when you know everything and you're still going down the rabbit hole, right? And I think that's where we become myopic in the one or 2 things that are really bad, instead of focusing on all of the good things that we have. And that's where I think, like, I've really grown to understand how crucial a coach or a mentor is, because they help you get out of the myopic. His whole thing with, like, okay, well, what do you see? And redirecting your thoughts gets you out of that myopic rabbit hole and into like the beautiful bigger picture again. So I think sometimes it's beyond your own control. And that's why having that other trusted individual that can help you through that becomes so crucial.
Okay, she just hit upon one of the most important parts of this whole equation here, right? We have E, excellence, mindset. She just brought up someone else. C, the first C stands for connection. Connecting with people. We are meant to be, we are designed to be, we are wired to be connected. If there's anything that we have learned in the past 18 months of this global pandemic, is that we need connection. We need to find ways to connect with other people. When your mindset is going down a different path, you need to connect with someone. Now, here's the interesting thing. Have you ever noticed when someone's mindset is bad, what's the very first thing that they do? They go inward.
You quit connecting.
They tighten up. They go like this. Instead, they need to come out and connect.
Yeah.
Very nice. I
No,
love the way how you put connection, that you need to come out and connect
yeah.
and discuss
And
things
we've done
accordingly.
sessions on, human connections, and that's such a wonderful and powerful point that you brought up. And I'd like to just push it a bit further, since you mentioned the last 18 months, and you're absolutely right that it's been a different world over the last nearly 2 years. We've entered a world where we're scared, we're facing fears, we faced fears, we've been stripped away from our social connections, from our loved ones. To a certain extent, we're getting better, but we have experienced global level. So this really hasn't been, a single person's sort of problem, but a global kind of suffering or global dilemma. And we've shared this and we've brought over it. And I think every human being on the planet can share the story who really gone through this pandemic. And there are coaches, although there's coaching, and I'd like to talk about, this coaching that you do, which I strongly believe, and I think that yes, we are a relational species, and we really cannot survive without connection and love, and warmth and connectivity. But there are coaches. There are a lot of self-help books that talk about sort of going inward and seeking everything from the inside. And whereas I believe in that as well. But if you have to um, tell that to somebody, they tend to get confused. Like, okay, if they don't have a mentor, and if they're stuck in a bad space, they're seeing and they're hearing their coaches telling them, well, look inward, all the answers, yet there is that need to connect. So what does one do about that confusion? I mean, one needs to seek a mentor. If you can't seek a mentor, how do you like clear that hate? Because I feel like a lot of people are getting confused, and there's more people who come out and talk about coaching. And so many people are coaching these days. So even coaching has become, something of a, I think, an epidemic itself. And you don't know if you get the right.
So I love that you brought up that great dilemma, right?
That's a beautiful question.
Beautifully asked,
Mhm.
beautifully worded, and is the dilemma that so many people struggle with, especially when you start talking about mindset, right? Mindset is inside, it's what we're saying, it's how we're thinking, how we're viewing the world. And then we say, go out and connect. And they seem to be almost, how could you have both?
Yeah.
But there's been some wonderful studies, and I like to use science in everything that I do, that have shown that real success comes from people that connect. If you look at positive psychology, if you look at neuropsychology, if you look at all of the psychologies that are future based, that are about moving forward, not saying the history didn't exist, but saying it did exist. How will I craft my next move? It is all based on connecting with other people. It's about relationships. It's about how you treat your loved one. Because I'll tell you, I've had a lot of my clients who were great connectors and then get home and they are grouchy with their spouse.
Yeah.
Because they're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there it is again. Comfort is a curse word. Comfort is a bad word. Comfort brings about things that we don't want. At least in my life, I want to live charged. I want to live energized. I want to live excited. I want to live futuristically. None of those are comfortable. So connecting with people that you really, really love and trust. I have worked with some of the highest paid coaches and executives in the world, and the best coach I have ever hired said, I do 30 years ago.
Yeah, sitting next to you.
She has a way of saying things that no one in the world can say to me, but in a way that she does it because we connect, because I trust what she has to say.
Yeah.
So we start there. You have to start with your relationships at home.
Yeah.
You,
So
you
what
have
is
to.
it? I'm curious. I would like to tap into that power of connectivity, individually. So, Dr. have this power of connect, and sometimes really what we say and the things we say to the other person, that help us connect, and sometimes it's the things that we say to the other person that help that kind of disconnect, right? And how important do you, since he gave that sort of credit to you, I leave us with tips on how to build and nurture connection in your relationship, because you're a mother to six, and obviously you're a mother, so you're the nurturer. And as a woman, nurturer, as a mother, and as a wife, you guys have been together for 30 years, you're an entrepreneur now. So what would you have to say about that? Leave us some tips.
I think
What are
that
the
it's
basic, like maybe if I said 3 rules to building strong, powerful, intimate, human, loving human connection, trusting ones,
3 things.
or maybe 4 or 5. I mean, go as far as minimum is
Um,
3.
in our home, we say that everything starts with respect.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that we've had 30 years to practice this. So if you had seen us 29 years ago, you probably would not say that we were, I mean, we've come a long way, you guys.
Oh yeah.
I can
So we
imagine.
didn't always start off being the most respectful to each other, but it's built over time, and in our home with our children.
But you brought up a very, very powerful word. You said practice. So talk
Yeah.
about that as well. When you say practice respect, is it practicing? I mean, a lot of people would be like, isn't that fake? Why do you need to practice in relationships? Shouldn't that come naturally? Like, shouldn't the spark be there? I mean, I want you to clear the.
Oh, that's so many thoughts swirling. I'll see if I can put it all together. But I feel like in a relationship, practice a lot of times means giving mercy, because we're going to make mistakes. That's it. And it goes back to what we were just saying. Like, okay, we're going to recognize that we made a mistake in the way that we talk to each other, or the way that we communicated our feelings, or communicated our expectations. And so you got to be respectful enough to give each other mercy, and give each other a second chance, and then step back and take a breath. Sometimes that means walking away for a minute until like I've had to say, and I know Mark's had to say too, like we need to address this later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let me breathe. Let me gather my thoughts so that I can say things in a way that will not be attacking, and then come back. And I think that that's been a huge part of building a solid relationship. Is just that respect. That okay, there were others, and they're out of my brain.
Yeah,
I do.
And there are also patience, and a lot of patience is required in doing that.
brought up from what I heard, you brought up respect, and you brought up communication. Third
Yeah.
thing,
And
Yeah.
can I speak to the guys for just a moment?
please
It-
do.
it is-
Do.
Go
so,
ahead. We want
men,
guy.
men,
It's 3
just
women here.
because they come to you, just because your wife, your loved one, is having a hard day and sharing, does not mean she's asking you to solve it.
Yeah.
Do not try to solve everything. There is something beautiful about recognizing the power of your wives.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Let
How's
them, if she needs something to be solved, she'll tell me.
Oh, that's how it works in our marriage now. I'm like,
So
okay,
when-
I don't need you to solve this. I just need to talk about it for a minute. And he's like, okay, I
let
heard
her
you.
express herself?
Yeah.
So that's number 3. That's like the freedom to express, right? So freedom to express,
Yes.
right? That's respect. That's communication. Strong, powerful, effective. The more you practice, I mean, I love the way that you practice it, because it really is about practice. love what Mark said, that you have to make an effort every day. And what happens in relationships and even where you work, if you're there long enough, get comfortable enough, you you stop putting that much effort. It's given, but it's not, and that's where the problem starts. So you gave us three key tips. You said respect, communication, and I think expression, which for us
Yeah.
women is crucial. So glad Dr. Leonard stressed men that open your ears and you don't always have to just be a good
Isn't that the greatest form of respect? Is allowing your spouse, your wife, to share without trying to take over.
Yeah.
We didn't get married so that I rule her life. We got married because we're equally yoked.
Yeah.
I'm just going to snippet this advice of yours. I'm going to show it to my future life partner whenever I met that. that
Never
it's
might be
yours.
I want to ask more. I did want to brought it up, freedom, right? And how important when we say we want to be free, especially when we say we want to be free to our partners, right? To our loved ones. As a mother, if you say it to your children, as a wife, you say it to your husband, as a husband, if you say it to your wife, so on and so on. People tend to get scared of this word. It scares people. Freedom a lot of times communicates itself as breaking connection or being on your own. Whereas I think that, the more freedom, and this is just my thought, have in any space, the more you'll give, right? And what do you have to say? You've been together for 30 years. You've both grown, I'm sure, as individuals. You've come a long way. You've accomplished yourselves. You've grown in so many areas as parents, as entrepreneurs, whatever you did. How important is freedom that you both give each other that freedom?
Crucial. However, I feel like as we've grown, we also make sure that we still put each other first. We're still
Yeah.
most important. We're still best friends. I'm always saddened when people say in their relationships that as they grew apart.
Yeah.
Like when you said, okay, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, I feel like we're supposed to.
Freedom into a threat, and they think that, well, if I'm with somebody, does being free means I'm not sharing. Whereas I want to get the aspect. What I'm trying to tap into is that it does not mean that you're not sharing. I think it means that you're sharing even more, but you're feeling free enough to share everything because you're not threatened. So you're free to express yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you're definitely free to express yourself. And the other part of this is, in fact, I'll bring up this again, and we'll talk about which finger is it? It's that last C. Where am I? Oh, there.
Connection.
That's where.
Yeah.
Okay, it took me 2 minutes to get
Yeah.
there. Is this last C, right? It's care. It's
Yeah.
about caring. So connection is different than caring. Connection is about looking someone in the eye. It doesn't have to be intimate. It could be a friend. It could be a client. It could be a customer. It's about connecting with people. Caring brings in more of the heart, and it's two-sided. The first side of care is, how do I care for my wife? What is her love language? How does she respond?
Mm-hmm.
The other is, how do I care for myself?
Yeah.
How do I get enough sleep? How do I eat the right foods? How do I exercise the right way? How do I take care of me?
Yep.
And so to go back to what you're saying about the freedom is also having that conversation about, I may not like the words that she says, but what is the intent of her message, right? Because if we look at the words that people use, we'll get really wrapped up and upset and angry.
Yes.
However, if you look at the intent, and I love this thought of Viktor Frankl, obviously one of the great psychologists of the World War II era, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, talked about this whole idea of asking yourselves, why would a rational human being do, say, or act in that way? Right? We have to ask ourselves, why would that other person do that, say that, act that way? And I think that we need to take the time to look at the intent of what other people are saying. And that, by the way, is a great way to care for ourselves. See, if we get wrapped up and worried about what other people are saying, then we're going to get stressed. We will get overwhelmed. We will get anxious. We will get upset. But if we could transition to what can we do? How can we say it? Or what are they meaning to say? And look at it through their lens, it changes our heart and our mind. And that's the great thing. This is the reason why connection and caring are tied together. Mind and heart need to be aligned so that we can be going in the same direction. You pair that with mindset, and now suddenly you have fuel to it. This is how we become excellent, is we care for other people. We care for ourselves.
Yeah.
We have, Becky said something marvelous a moment ago. She said, mercy.
Mercy, yeah. That's a beautiful emotion.
I somebody years ago, and it just stuck with me, said to always assume innocence. I think that goes back to what he was saying. Like,
Always
it's not often that people are just out to get you. It's not, I mean, you get married to somebody for a reason, right? And then they're probably not out to get you when you're having a difficult time or you're having an argument or whatever. So that assuming innocence and then trying to understand where they're coming from, that's something that we've taught with our kids. It's something that we've worked on in our marriage. And honestly, in relationships too, I love how you said, relationships are supposed to be easy and free flowing. Like, do you know anybody, like your best girlfriend or the best marriage or the best, like any relationship that has never had a problem?
Yeah, no, I don't know
anybody.
I do know of people who just come up on the pedestal and say, I want to be respected, I want to be loved, I want peace. And I've said to them, work for it, and they go like, well, no, I'm supposed to get it. Like, that's why I got into a relationship, or that's why I got married, or that's why I did this job, because this is given. And they come in, again, that mindset, come in blind by expectations and the sense of worth, that I automatically will receive love, respect, and peace. And they might receive it in the beginning, but eventually we all have to work at it.
I love that word, work.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to work at it. If you want to be excellent, you're going to have to work at it. If you want to have an eternal, excellent marriage, you have to work at it. If you are going to be the best mother or father or brother or sister,
coworker, employee,
dishwasher, gardener, CEO, you have to work at it. You have to decide to be excellent. You have to craft, what does excellent mean? How can I be excellent in my marriage? How can I be excellent in all that I want to do? And then, what is my mindset telling me? What do I need to change? What is stopping me? What is stopping me from getting to that next level in that relationship, in that goal? How am I going to connect with other people? Who do I need to connect with? Who can help me? Who can I ask a question of? Who's going to be in my camp cheering me on? And then finally, how do I care? How do I care for those around me? How do I care for myself? how do I really take care of all of us individually and all of us collectively? To be excellent, to overcome challenges in life, we're going to have bad days.
Well, that's the purpose, though, right? Like, we never learn and grow if everything is just easy.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Right.
other day,
One of these, amazing psychologists that I follow, Dr. Shifali, and she says in her talks that for every prize there is a prize. So and that always sticks with me. But in the end, my last question, for both of you, moving away, we've talked about relationships as managers, right? And I have seen people, employees, really suffer because of managers, and when you brought up, care for all of us, because I've lately, you know, had the conversations with a few of my friends who've been, really, really suffering at work. And it's got to do not with their job, but their manager. But when you're a manager, when you're responsible for your employees, how do you take care of them? And when you brought up, I believe that, openness and transparency and honesty and bringing these things into your team so that they can or complain about you and not take it personally. Um, it's really crucial. What do you have to say about being excellent manager and take care of your team?
Want to take that?
No.
No? Okay. Sure. All right, then I will take it, but I will answer it on what I observe Becky do.
It's probably best because I don't know if I know what I do. I just do it. So
That's because she is there's a big difference between manager and leader. See, I can manage the books. It's a process. People need to be led. And the only way you can lead someone is if they know that you care for them.
Yeah.
And I love watching Becky put together on we have an employee chalkboard, and she writes messages on there about our employees, the things that she sees them doing well. She's taken pictures of them and pinned them up on the board. She got their high school graduations and put them on the board for us to celebrate. She is constantly looking for how can she show and say that she loves our employees. That's how you don't manage, you lead.
Yes.
There's a big difference.
so it is following that same equation: excellence, mindset, and connection and caring. And this is how you excel in all areas of your life.
Every aspect of your life
Yeah.
is wrapped into this equation. And it's why my book is about this very thing. I'm writing a book that will be coming out next year.
Wow.
That is all
Congratulations.
Thank
We
you.
look forward to having you and talking about that book. Very excited to hear that.
Oh, we will. Yeah, you guys, you're getting a pre-show of what I do when I'm not on podcasts, when I'm not speaking. Is I'm writing about this and I'm
Amazing.
researching this because this is one of the most powerful equations in the world. Let's be excellent. Let's change
I remember it. I'm sure whoever's watching, I hope it sticks with them because it really the fundamentals of happiness and contentment. Excellence is equal to mindset, action, care. And caring is just not caring for other people. It's caring for yourself, so self-love as well. And I do want you guys to help us with messages, for our viewers. Where we're going through certain times. You brought up social media. You mentioned how that is also, an ailment that our youth and us, at the same time, we're all suffering. Any message you want to leave with, please do. Parting messages,
Do you have a parting message?
tips.
no. Mark's really great at the parting message.
The
We definitely
parting
need
mess.
Come on.
Something.
The life lesson, any message you want to leave us with?
Yeah, the way you write on the chalkboard for everyone. So,
Honestly, I learned that from Mark. I was having a really hard time with teaching my kids how to clean toilets. I know that sounds really mundane, but I was so frustrated with them. And I was complaining to him one day about how, like, I had gone in there how many times to tell them, like, you still missed the pee on the back of the wall, And he had been going through his doctorate, and there was a class that he took, and I don't even remember what he took or what, like, he probably does, but there was something that he learned that he shared with me, and he was like, you need to start with the things that they did well. Because I am process driven. I am all about, like, get in there, get it done, and look how you can be the most efficient. And so I was going in there and I was like, hey, great job. Now get to this, get to that, to, like, take care of this, And he was like, what if you step back and really praise them for the things they did well first? And so anyway, it helped. It just helped our kids. And so as I have those days with our squad where I'm like, oh, I've said the same thing 20 times, and you start to feel a little bit frustrated because you're like, are they listening? Are they, and I just, it kind of comes back to that, like, okay, well, what are they doing well? How can we praise them for the things they're doing well? Because I think that they hear the things that they need to work on better when they have been filled first. And it all came from him. So I'm grateful to him for that. And so that's why I called it my compliment board. And really it's just become like this big collage of happiness. And it took a little bit of time for them to buy in. But now we've got, like, all kinds of things that show their personality. And mixed in with that, I can just be like, hey, I'm so proud of the way that you reacted with the customer today. Or I'm so impressed with whatever. And so I just think that it comes back to what he was saying, like that caring connection. If you can show people how much you love them and how much they mean to you and the things that are, like, that you can see, then it just kind of changes. We have the best culture in our store, and it, like, is, it's not for lack of problems. They're still kids and we're still learning, but I sure do love them. And I guess that's my parting thought, is just how can you continue to show love while standing for the things that are important to you. You don't have to give up who you are in order to give like pure love to somebody else. You can have both.
Well, I think that's a wonderful parting message. I mean, you weren't willing to give it. I'm glad you did, because I'm that, and I believe that. I mean, the power of appreciation, and appreciating someone's efforts, and it leaves way for encouraging them to sort of then work even harder. And yes, that's a good tip for managers or leaders as well, I believe. So Becky, well done. Moving on to Dr. Mark.
Yes,
my parting thought throughout this whole conversation today was, don't be afraid to start small. Don't be afraid to be seen as small. Don't be afraid to be seen as, I'm not good enough. I'm not there. I'm not perfect. I'm not Instagram. Rather, be patient with yourself. And recognize that you are a beautiful work of art. And art takes time. Be patient with the artistry of your own life.
Amazing.
I love that line of yours, and I'm going to write that in my journal tomorrow morning before I or after the show, because you're a beautiful piece of art. Yeah, because I am also trying to learn that on a daily basis. That's why I asked you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Dr. Mark Leonard, Becky, Leonard, both of you. It's been such a joy and delight, and I really feel on talking to you, and we could keep on, indulging ourselves and asking questions about this and that. But time is limited, and unfortunately, we have to wrap up. But it was really, really a delight having you. We learned a lot from the two of you. You're just really, really wonderful human beings. Before you are, all these things that you've accomplished. And thank you so much for coming on our live session. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
And all the best for your book. And with that, we're signing off. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Thank
Bye.